Hey guys, and welcome to a camera swap video. This is our first. This is mine and Sarah's first time swapping cameras, and yeah, let's just introduce ourselves. My name's Isha, London-based photographer, and I'm going to be using
a Nikon D600 and my trusty Sigma Art 35mm lens.
And Sarah's going to be using my Canon 70D with my Tamron 24-70 2.8 lens. And
I'm very nervous. Her camera has a touch screen
and her one doesn't, and you know it's the whole Canon NIKON war. So I really want to do this video because just to show it really doesn't matter what camera you have. It's all about technique, and there's different skills I feel like you have to use with the Canon and Nikon because they're all kind of suited for different stuff. Like your camera, the colors are very vivid. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, it's really interesting just because in my mind, everyone's always like, oh, there's a war between cameras, and I'm like, shut up. Every camera does a different thing, just sort of every car kind of has a different reason, or every type of meat has a different reason to eat it or cook it or whatever. So it's the same thing with cameras. It's I got a Nikon because I stayed with Nikon because after doing research it was sort of that made the most sense for music, because you can get back a lot of detail and stuff that other cameras can't. But also just I had Nikon because that was what my film camera was, and at the time my film lenses worked with my digital camera, so it just made sense. But
so hopefully we might have some future challenges, but I feel this is going to be a really interesting experience for both of us, and hopefully for you, just to show it is down to the actual person behind the camera. So yeah, let's introduce our model for today.
Hi, my name's Faber. I'm a singer-songwriter from South London. Today's outfit choice, I don't actually know, you tell me. Why did we choose this?
Because we're in a green environment, and it's this really cool Picasso dress from Monkey, so shout out to Monkey.
Shout out Monkey. We've got all the patterns going on, loads of bright, vivid, bold colours. Which will go quite nicely with all the greens and all the lighting that we've got around.
So Sarah, how is it so far?
Well, I have enough trouble getting angles with my camera, but I'm just I keep thinking that I understand what the focal length is of this, and I don't.
Because it's crop, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's been a while since I've shot with crop, and I'm like, ah, shit. Okay.
So what's your process with this? What's your...
Lots of laying on the ground.
Just winging it, I love it,
Just trying to figure out the best way to fit in. Because there's so much stuff that looks really cool. Literally. But it's hard, but I feel it'd even be hard with my camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna struggle, but it's gonna be a nice struggle.
Okay, I have one more idea, but can we move that away? I also spend most of my life just laying on the ground.
Sounds like a good place to be. Good for it. Yeah.
Okay, other question.
Yeah.
Can you zoom in on this while you're...
You can, by using the zoom things. Oh wait, can you not?
No. Oh wait, because it's an autofocus.
Yeah, you definitely should be able to. Don't have both your hands up. Don't. just like play with your hands in the air. Yeah, just keep it wide open. Yeah, I want to change location.
How's this going?
I don't think anything's in focus because your live mode isn't like what it shows, it's completely different. So, oh my god. Let's see. Okay, this is the ground. Okay, that one could be saved, but I don't think it's in focus.
How's the Nikon treating you?
You know what, I'm gonna have to use like auto. Your autofocus is a lot better than my autofocus, but like manual, I can't see. Like your screen, I just can't see. I might be like blind, but I just can't see. So it's going alright with auto, but I'm gonna switch up and do the manual. So we just finished and that was literally the hardest challenge. Like
It was a brain workout.
did not expect it. Like you kind of think, oh, you know, two cameras, they're roughly like, you know, the same range. We do similar stuff, so you kind of expect it to be very similar. But oh my God. Do you want to talk about like how you found it using the Canon?
Well, it was not only like a Canon, it was also a lens I've never used. And like whenever I shoot portraits, I usually just stay around 1.4. And so shooting portraits at 2.8 with a lens I'd never used before was like very weird.
Yeah.
And also the whole like crop sensor thing was like foreign because I haven't used a crop sensor in like 3 years. And so it just was like getting used to like, oh, you think you're using like a 28 millimeter, but it's not a 28 millimeter. And then also like I guess like the 2.8 isn't actually the same thing as like normal. I don't think. I don't think it's 100%.
Okay,
I think it's less sharp or something. I'm not sure. But so it was just like a weird. It was really interesting though, and it was definitely like a good learning experience.
Is there anything that you would like cross over, like take to using your Nikon, or was it just more of like?
I think it was just like a learning how to like shoot something different and sort of going back in the mindset of like getting used to a camera when you're shooting. If that makes sense. Because like it's the same technique because you're still just shooting with a camera, like it's still using a camera. And when I put like the Sigma lens on your camera, it actually made things so much easier because I was like a little bit more comfortable because I like understood the lens, if that makes sense. And I was like, okay, like this is a lens that I know how it works, and I was like, this like makes more sense in some way.
Yeah, like I definitely struggled with like, because mine's a touchscreen, I'm so used to just like, you know, tapping, changing. But with this you have to think, okay, one button controls like the ISO, the shutter speed and the aperture, and you got to remember which button it is. So it took me a time to kind of look at the camera and be like, okay, this and this. And I found the manual focusing is a lot harder. I don't know why, it might just be the screen or I can't see it properly, but normally on my screen I can just manual focus and it's like easy, but here I had to zoom in, but then I found it was taking too much time, so I just like autofocused, and your autofocus is a lot better, I would say. But I had the advantage, we both had the Sigma lens and I was using the Sigma lens, so I kind of got around that, I knew how to use it. But then also I did find myself taking the same kind of pictures in the way like I would position myself, and like, so I guess it is like, you know, you still have your own style and that will show through the pictures, the angles you take. I don't know, I kind of in a way do like it and could see myself getting used to a Nikon, just because like when you're taking the pictures they look really good there, but with the Canon I feel like you need to have a second thought in your mind about like, the editing process.
I guess like also for me with the Canon it was like a bit weird the way the color like palette is, because it's so different.
With my camera I set the picture style and it's all quite flat except for the sharpness, so when you're actually looking at it in live mode it's gonna look pretty much as close to flat as a Canon can get. So that was
which like is not something I've ever been used to, so it's one of those things where I'm shooting and I'm like, I know once it's on my computer like it'll be fine, it'll just be like a raw file, but as I'm looking at it on my camera I'm just like, is my editing style even gonna work with like the colors that I'm given right now? And so that was kind of like a thing where I'm like, wow, this whole thing's gonna be really hard because when I'm done I'm gonna have to edit differently.
Exactly, that's what made me think a lot as well, but then it's raw, so you know, it should be fine.
I mean the color profiles are still a bit different because like it reads color in a different way, but still it should be
That's
fine.
why editing is going to be really fun. So we might or we may not put the raws next to your edits just to show how I think we should do that. But overall it's been fun. I definitely want to do it another time. Maybe with
my brain
Sony,
hurts so much.
like a 3-way rotation.
Or like I want to try the Fuji really bad, or so, like one of those ones, because I tried a friend's Fuji, like the digital one before, and it was really weird because like the viewfinder was also digital. So that was like, because like you were before she was saying that like on the live mode it like doesn't change when you move things, so it's basically the same as looking through a viewfinder, which I personally like. But on your camera, when you change the like shutter speed and stuff, it changes also on the live mode, which I feel like is maybe a newer camera thing, or I'm not sure what it is, but I just found that really interesting too.
That's one thing I hated about the Nikon. I don't think I could use it for that reason. So like when you're shooting, I always shoot in live mode, sometimes even at gigs, it depends, but when you're doing portraits and when you're changing the aperture and the shutter speed, it doesn't show you, so you have to actually take the picture, and it's just like,
if you go to video mode, it shows you what it's going to look like, but that's like so much work. But
okay, so hope you like the video and we'll be doing some more.
Subscribe to her channel.